So good evening. Thank you for sparing your time. Good morning for those who are joining, maybe from the US or from Canada, and maybe good night to those who are joining in Asia. So we want to look at data analysts, business intelligence analysts. Who are they do who do they work with, like. And then please, if you're not talking, if you could help to mute, so as to reduce the background noise. Okay, thank you once again for joining. So we'll be looking at who we are, mentor partners. Why are we having this call today? We'll also have a look into data analysis. What's the career like for a data analyst? What's the life cycle for data analysis? A data analyst versus a business intelligence analyst, are they same? Are they similar? Are they different? What's the difference? And then we'll also look at the roles and responsibilities of these two persons and what's a day-to-day work life for them. Then we'll then see, okay, if I want to become a data analyst or if I want to transition to business intelligence analysis, how do I start? If you could see my screen, please just give a thumbs up. So who are we? So Mentor Partners, it's a career building environment where we help people to upskill. Upskill in the sense that you have a role, or you have a career in your mind. You feel that you're not doing what you expected to do, or you are not where you expected to be. So you need more like a group of persons who you could speak to, who have a network of successful coaches that would help you take you from where you are to where you intend to be. So the aim is to bridge the gap that is required for you in that new workplace, in terms of giving you the experience as well as the required knowledge. So we focus on growing experience, working on with live mentors, working on live projects, closing every gap that we have identified that is stopping you from getting into the market, and then helping to grow your confidence to not just get the job, but also perform on the job. So in terms of student portfolio, we have over 600 plus people who have gone through this program in the past 5 to 6 years. And then we have also retrained 100 plus people who have been trained before from other training institutions. Um, then we do this by making a career plan for you. So this plan is custom to you, and it will detail out how will I start, what will I be doing, and even if I get the job, how will 2 to 4 years look like? How can I remain relevant on the job, and what other job can I do from this current thing that I'm doing? So it's a roadmap that says you're here today. In 6 months' time, if you go through a particular coaching and mentoring program, you should start your job as a data analyst or whatever career you have chosen. Then from that 6 months, in the 6 months on the job or 1 year on the job, what should I be doing so that I become relevant and grow? So it's a full 2 to 4 years career plan that is built, so that after the coaching, training, mentorship, and internship, you would have somewhere to refer to on how your career should go. Then in terms of partnership, we work with senior professionals, we work with top organizations who support in mentorship, internship, and then we also help in job support before the job, on the job, and even after the job. And then also support with certifications that would help you get into the market. So some of the gains and benefits, excuse me, is that the trainings are case study led, meaning case studies from organizations. We use that to build a training program, and then you have to solve those case studies. And then another thing is on the hands-on experience and mentorship, as well as the support, both in job application as well as in transitioning. So let's go into the key thing we have for today. Let's overview data analysis. Let's overview business intelligence analysis. So the career overview is like this. You have, as a data analyst or as a business intelligence analyst, I know some of us might be asking, what's the difference? And it's one of the biggest confusion. Like, are they same? No, they are not. Are they similar? Yes, they are. But let's find out. At the end of this thing, you can work in different industries, whether it's finance, whether it's healthcare, marketing, technology, energy and power, manufacturing, logistics, education, retail services, whatever. As long as that industry is running on data, data is actually what drives every industry. So as long as that industry is running on data, you actually would need somebody to pick up that data, get something out of it, and then use that thing to make informed decision. So how does this thing work? On the left, I have raw data and I have a business problem. So the business has a need. We want to know, why are people not buying these courses? We want to know, why has sales reduced? We want to know, why are people dropping off from the website? We want to know, why are people not coming to our shop? We want to know, why are people not being interested, or why, if I have DSTV packages, why do people go to buy this smaller package rather than this other one? So once there's a business problem, we will definitely have raw data available. This raw data can be fetched from any source, whether from people, whether from surveys, whether from database, whatever it is. Now, a business problem is a problem that needs a data-driven solution. So everything starts from the left. Now, at the end of the day, what we want to do is to have a finished and ready to use data. This is a data that is ready for consumption and insight. So how do we move from left to right? First thing, you need to understand, what is the need? What do they want from me? So this, we're moving from left to right. You have raw data and then you have finished data. So first thing is, I need to understand the need. I need to know what it is. What is it that the business wants? What is the problem? Then you need to do what? Collect the data. So you could collect that raw data, collect it. Oh, like maybe you are a data analyst in a university environment and you want to know, maybe you want to analyze student results, or you want, like, there have to be data, or maybe admission process is taking too long. So later we'll look at the difference between a data analyst and a business intelligence analyst, so that we do not mix the two of them. But you collect the data. After collecting the data, we'll try to understand the data which you have collected. The next thing is, let us clean the data. It could be a wrong date format. I was working on a data analysis project last week, and then I was trying to migrate some records from one application to another application, and I was having errors. And then one of the reasons was that the date format, they just typed the date 5th December 2023, but the date format was not in line with the date format of the target application. So I had to clean that particular, it was a long list of, so I had to clean to make sure that the format will match whatever the target application is. So you have to clean and prepare the data. So remember, we're coming from the left, we're going to the right. So you have to clean and prepare the data. After you prepare data, you have to kind of explore and analyze it. Because the aim, you cannot analyze the data that has not been cleaned and prepared. And you cannot clean the data that you've not collected or understood. So after we have cleaned, prepared, and analyzed, what do? We have to visualize that data. We have to make it, visualize it in a way that will be easy for somebody to kind of see. Then we visualize it, we have to report. Because if you visualize something that cannot be communicated, there's a problem. And then going further, we might have to model this data. Excuse me, we might have to model the data. And then lastly, we might have to implement the insights from that data. So everything you see here is who and what a data. So if we stop this webinar today, I believe you understand that a data analyst will pick up raw data from the left, understand. A business intelligence analyst will go further to understand what is the need, what is the business problem. Sometimes data analysts do not speak to the business, they just collect. But a business intelligence analyst will do was speak to the business, because the person has an understanding of the business environment. I can be working with a data analyst. Data analyst will just say, give me the data. Just tell me what you want. They'll just go pop, 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 pop. But a business intelligence analyst needs to sit down, understand the business process, understand the business operation. Because at the end of the day, that person needs to bring back that thing to the business, just like what a business analyst does. Understand the requirements, document that requirement, work with the project engineering or project technology team to translate that requirement into technical requirements, build and develop the solution, test the solution, validate that solution, and bring that solution back to the business in form of, because that solution is expected to solve the business problem. Same thing a business intelligence analyst would do. But this business intelligence analyst is looking at things from a data point of view. So now let us, a data analyst is on the left, a business intelligence analyst on the right. So a data analyst, in simple, will clean and prepare the data, explore the data, kind of create statistical model or use statistical model, and then try to visualize that data in very simple terms. Whereas a business intelligence analyst would kind of do a data requirement gathering, analyze business trend, create dashboard and reports, visualize the data, design and implement data warehouse and data mats. Now, it doesn't mean a data analyst cannot do this. Now, in corporate environments, most times they expect a BIA to be able to do what a data analyst can do. But a data analyst may not be able to do what a business analyst, a business intelligence analyst can do. The difference is just the business. Now, a data analyst can actually visualize using Power BI, but might not know exactly which aspects of the business, or will not be able to know the practical application of that particular thing to solve which particular business problem. But the data analyst would create it and then hand it back to maybe a project manager or hand it back to it. But a business intelligence analyst knows the end solution. So most times what we do is prepare people to kind of become both a data analyst and a business intelligence analyst, because at the end of the day, the end goal is to solve business problem. So if you are more of a technical person, I just love analyzing, give me data, let me bring out something from it, you might be on the left. If you actually are more somebody who, if you're somebody who have worked in the business environment, you work in business day-to-day administration, you understand business operation, whether it's logistics, and you've seen some problem and you want to analyze, you want to be able to come up with solutions, you might actually be this person. Not everybody has business insight. Some persons are, give me the data, tell me what you want, give me the data, I will give it back to you. So for the sake of this webinar, I will be joining both of them as same, because they almost use the same kind of tools. They almost use the same kind of almost everything we could think. Now, a data analyst requires basic understanding of the business operation, but have more focus on the technical skills to derive the insights. So their output here is data insight and visualization. But now on the other side, a business intelligence analyst needs a deeper understanding of the business operations and the strategic goals, because their aim is to translate this data insights into actionable recommendations. So this is the core difference. This one understands the business the more. This one understands the solution. Just give me, I would cook something for you and I will give it to you. But this one knows at the end of the day, that food that has been cooked, which aspect of the business is it going to solve a problem? So they spend more time on dashboards, reports, and actionable recommendations. But I would say, for the sake of today, we would lump these two as one, because a BIA is expected to have a data analyst skill, but a data analyst person may not. It's a choice. May not have to, I might not need to understand. It's just like if I work with a developer today, the developer will do what? Collect whatever I want, develop, and give me back. We'll be looking for the next stuff. But now a developer with a business sense is more like coming into the business, understand, know the application, know where it's going to be before going ahead to do something. So let us now see. So in summary, their duty is to collect, clean, interpret, and visualize data to uncover insights so that we could have an informed decision making. So how they do it is to use statistical methods, tools, programming languages to analyze large data sets, identify pattern, trends, and any mishaps. And at the end of the day, the aim is to help organizations make informed decisions, optimize operation, and gain a competitive edge. So if this is you, welcome to the webinar. So we will be looking at the life cycle. How am I expected to go on my day-to-day job? The first thing to do, we need to collect the data. You need to understand the business needs. So a data analyst and a BIA will do what? Gather and collect the data from several sources, whether it's a database, whether it's survey, whether it's records, whether it's API. But a business intelligence analyst will go further to understand what the business requirement is. I'm trying to separate these things because most times people get confused. A data analyst, a business intelligence analyst, a business analyst, are they the same? Are they different? They are not too different, but they are different. They are like twin. They look alike, but their DNAs are different. Right? So, so after we have collected the data, we'll clean it. Any wrong formatting, any wrong this, any wrong that, any missing values, any inconsistencies, any corrections that we need to do, we would clean up that data, right? And these are different tools that can be used to do that. Now, then we would have to perform analysis. This is where we apply whatever technique we want to do to analyze the data that we have cleaned so that we begin to identify or extract meaningful insights from them. And these are different tools that can be used. I'm not bothered about tools. Some people know how to. I don't want to. I don't make friends with people who can use tools. I make friends with people who can solve problems. If I go to a mechanic shop today, you'll see different tools in the toolbox. You see a screwdriver, you will see a spanner, whether size 7, size 8, size 9. Now, some persons can know the functions of all of these tools. Just like in university, they teach you, you do this, you learn this, you learn that, you learn this. But what is the practical application? Like, when am I supposed to use screwdriver? So they can tell me screwdriver is for doing this, spanner is for doing this one is for doing this, touchlight is for you doing this. But I would prefer, so when you now have, oh, your radiator is, your car is overheating, most persons don't know how to solve that because it's in trying to solve a particular problem that will then use the tools. So we are not focused on come and learn Excel, come and learn Power BI, come and learn SQL. Many people can use those tools, but they cannot solve problems. So rather, we teach how do you collect data? How do you clean them? How do you prepare them? How do you analyze them? How do you visualize them? Then after visualizing, how do you then report it? Reporting is like presenting what you have visualized. Visualization is kind of creating a presentation of what you have analyzed. Analysis is like applying statistical techniques to what you have cleaned. Cleaning and preparation is like identifying errors from what you have collected. So you could see that there's a flow. So when I speak to data analyst or business intelligence analyst, I want to hear, oh, I was working on a problem. I was working with the sales and marketing team for my organization, and we were having a drop in sales for one of our products that was on the website. The business wanted to make an informed decision whether to stop selling that particular product, but they didn't know how to, they didn't know what best to do. So it required a data analysis project. So I started by first of all sitting down with the sales and marketing team, understand the product description, the SKUs, the users of this product, the sales cycle, the trend, and then I collected all the necessary data I could collect. Then I sat down for about 2 to 3 days to start cleaning and preparing that data. I was able to use Excel to do this. Then I used Python, some of the Python libraries to do this. Then after that, I went into deep analysis. In my analysis, I was able to kind of analyze all the data and I started extracting some meaningful insights. So when you go to interviews, they want to hear you speak the life cycle of what you did. Don't just come and gamble or bamboozle people by saying, okay, I can use Excel. I don't care. What can you do? Right? So this is why I am taking my time to kind of explain to us the life cycle, because that's the approach. So after you have reported, then we can go further to start modeling and collaborating. Collaborating is more like speaking to people, like going deeper with with the business stakeholders to kind of knowing what to do so that we could actually translate everything into a data-driven solution. So every solution has to be data-driven. So, oh, I remember I do say this most times in the webinar. You go for, there was a time I went to the hospital and immediately I started telling the doctor, I have headache and I'm feeling feverish. It looks like I think I have malaria, so can you treat me? And the first thing he said is, if you have malaria, why did you come? And I was thinking, is this guy rude or something? Then in my heart, my brain, initially my brain was disconnected from my heart and my heart was disconnected from my mind. But when he said that thing, everything came together and it's like, if you came here, it means you want to be diagnosed and tested to know what the actual thing is, because there are so many illnesses that the symptoms are headache and fever. So you can't just generalize and say malaria. So data analysis did not start today. It's like, so what would they do? They'll collect my blood, that is the data collection. So they would actually take that blood through a cleaning and preparation process, maybe whatever thing they need to do. They will then do what? Analyze the blood. So whatever thing they want to do, whether they want to test for this, test for that, see what they can extract, subject the blood to this, subject the blood to that. Then they'll do what? Put a report. Then kind of put all of those data into something that we can read, which is more like visualization. So after they visualized it, they will print it out and they'll give it to me, or they'll send it to the doctor in form of a test report. So that report will now allow the doctor to kind of know what exactly is the problem and give me what we call a data-driven solution. So the doctor could see something very big, even 2 weeks into something, if maybe, oh, the blood pressure was going high, for me, it's like I didn't do anything. So this is, the point I'm saying is, the coaching program or the training is tied towards how do you apply and how do you communicate what you know. So this is why I am here speaking about this. So I don't want to take plenty of the time. So the last thing I would say for data analysis is, who do they work with? So I have a stakeholder relationship map here. So you yourself here, you're a data analyst, you're a business intelligence analyst. Now the blue side are the data people. So data scientists, they work with data engineers, they work with database administrators, because maybe database administrators are those people who manage the database, and they could actually supply us medical records, or whatever records that we need. Then the people in orange are more like project team members. So it could be a product manager for a particular product. There could be a project manager if you're working in a project environment, or you could be working with a business analyst who would go gather the requirements, and from the requirements, you would then do what? Extract whatever thing you want to extract from the requirement before you go to your other aspects of the data analysis cycle. Or it could be with the software engineering team. Maybe there's a particular API we need to fetch some things from, or so. Now the light blue side, which is the Manchester City side of things, this is the Chelsea side. The Manchester City side are kind of head of department, senior executive. These are the people who were trying to solve their problem. So the blue people are the people who would support us. The orange people are those who more like, I'm working with them to solve that particular problem. The light blue people are those people who we are trying to solve their particular problem. And then the external bodies are certification bodies or government regulatory bodies, just so that we perform our task as data analysts in line with government regulations, whether it's looking at GDPR, whether it's looking at whatever thing. We don't want to cross the line while analyzing data. So I will take a little pause and then check if anyone has any question before I know we still have about 20 to 25 minutes. So let me take a pause. I don't know if there are questions in the background.
I just showed my presence, but I still have question.
Okay,
Like now, you said that the data analyst, their major work is to collect raw data,
yes.
collect it, clean it before analyzing it. So does it mean that the data they collect, the business analyst, they always request the data from them? Do they request the data before they can collect? They go for collection of raw data.
Okay, good question. Now you work in logistics and supply chain, right? You work in a right. So let's say you're the head of operations there, or a business admin manager, and um, either items are getting missing or items are getting delayed at custom, or there's a problem, but we don't know the solution. So if I'm to work with you, what I will do is I'll tell you to give me, so a raw data is give me the data as it is, like whether you have everything in Excel, whether you have it stored in a software application, whether, but just give me, you will like what you will do is you will give me everything that you have, right? So that
Mm.
everything that you have is what we call, so let me go back to this place. So that's everything that you have is what we call raw data. So to me, it is raw. You haven't like, but to you, it is what
Used it.
you're
You have
using.
not used it.
Yes. So to you, the manager is what you're using every day. To you, it is not raw. But to me, who is going to analyze it, it is raw. Do you understand?
Yes.
So my job is to kind of sit down with you to understand, okay, there's a problem, but we don't know what the solution is. We can only guess. We can only, except God tells you in a dream, but most times we can only guess what the solution is. Could it be this? Could it be that? Could it be, but we don't know. So we need a data-driven answer. So the only way to get that is you give me everything that you have. I would collect that data from you and I will try to understand it. Now, understanding the data has to match what your need is. then I will start cleaning the data. So remember, I will collect the data from you. Maybe the data might have, it might not be following a particular pattern. Maybe the first time you use surname and first name and surname, another person you're using surname then first name, another one you're using first name initial, and it's not following a particular format. So I need to put that data in a particular clean format that will help me for exploratory data analysis. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand. So there must be a problem before a data analyst is required.
My sister, there's problem every day. Even Nigeria
Every day.
has, even Nigeria currently has, Nigeria needs to hire data analysts, data analysts, a whole lot, and spread them everywhere. Put them, all the special advisors should be, they should have data analysts, but that's a discussion for another day. That's not how things work. So, because there's always a problem. Like right now, let's say we're always holding webinars, but maybe 100 people would show interest, but only 3 people will attend. And that has happened for the past 7 webinars. We don't know where the problem is. Could it be in our advertisement or campaigns? Could it be in the delivery of the webinar? Could it be what we're using to even publish the webinar? Could it be in the social media? We don't know where. We can't pinpoint where we think the problem is. So would let somebody come and help us. So a business analyst will collect these requirements, but then a data analyst needs to collect the data on top of this requirement. So collect all the necessary data, then they will clean them. Then after cleaning and preparing, they will analyze it. Then they will come back, they will then visualize it using Power BI or Tableau or Looker Studio or whatever tool they want to use. Then they will come back to us and they will report to us what they have found out in their analysis. So the analysis will show that even though we advertise, maybe the platform we are using to run the webinar, most people do not like. Maybe people prefer to join webinars when the webinars are actually having a Zoom link rather than having a Google Meet link. But we don't know. Because if we go and change the webinars from using Google Meet to Zoom without having an informed decision, we may triple the problem. So the reason why we have data analysts is to reduce our guess, so that every decision that we make in organizations will be driven by data.
Thank you so much, Darlington. I think Jude also has his hand up. I think he has a question too that he would like to ask. Jude, please go on, please.
Okay, I just want to add a context.
Okay.
There is always problem of data. So recently, the House of Commons in Canada, they were interviewing Mark Miller, the immigration minister.
Yes.
And they were asking him that for the year 2024, how many people did he give visas, temporary visas, and how many are supposed to leave? You know, they were asking him questions that he could not even say, and he looks very, very messy. Like, if I were the one, I'll just resign. I was saying, in an advanced country, this is something. If the right data we are taking, I mean, he should be able to answer. Maybe he has the data, maybe it's just ridiculous. I don't know, but it makes it look bad. So that is how important data analysis is.
Very thank you. I would also ask Ifeanyi to put 1 or 2 things on it. So you're very correct. So people are traveling out of Nigeria, people are going into other countries now, and then there are different ways going to that country. There is visitor visa, there is work related visa, there is this, there's that. Now, how many people have come in? Now, how many people came in? Yesterday, I saw that Nigerians have spent 40 billion naira on UK visa, just visa fee. They're not talking about any other thing. How did they come up with that stuff? Somebody did the analysis. Somebody analyzed all the people who have come in. But first of all, the UK government would provide the raw data to the person. Now the person will do what? So one of that thing is just the insights that they brought. That, but there are so many insights that they saw. It could be that. So the in fact, data analysis skill, it's something that not just a data analyst should have, but also people who work with data analysis or work in project environment or work in technology or work in the business should at least, even if it is the basic data analysis stuff, please, it's important that we need to have that. Okay. Do you have one thing or two things to add on that?
Yeah, just like you said, I mean, he presented a very interesting case. They say in God you trust, for all others bring data. So data needs to be tracked. So you can either have your primary sources, which means you are intentional about picking that data, or you will go to the web, and go and look for places where you can pick the data that matches what you need. For example, you raised two scenarios. The first one you raised was you're trying to check if, for people who are holding webinars that people gradually frequent, if you get them, you can go and find out what platform they use, how many people they use it, what time of the day they use it, and then maybe what region of the world they're coming from. But that one will be secondary. But if you are immigration, your own will be primary. You must target it. You must have APIs. You must have a database. As people are paying, it's going somewhere. It's lodging inside the cloud. It's lodging inside an Excel sheet. Because it's very important, because you need to track something. You need to track how many people are going, how much they're spending, and so on and so forth. Which was why, as Mr. Jude said, it is really very wrong or very funny that the Minister of Immigration in Canada would say he's not sure, because somewhere, somebody should be tracking those things.
You're correct. And in fact, when leadership go to board meetings, in fact, if you want to, let me even forget about them. If you want to get a job, whether as a business analyst, as an engineer, as a project manager, as a data analyst, as a HR person, they don't want to know what did you do. They would also always be asking, what are the achievements? So it's like, oh, I reduced the hiring cycle by 50% by doing this. So that is you bringing data to whatever you're doing. Oh, we're able to complete this project 1 week before the target date, and then this translated to saving a professional service cost of over 100,000 USD, since most of the team members were on site. So cutting short on site cost by, so it's like they will hire that person, and then you will say, oh God, how many times will I do interview? You will now start calling, oh, Darlington, pray for me, come and anoint me. No, I wouldn't waste my prayer, because the thing that you're supposed to do, you haven't done them. So everything has to be data driven. Even relationship has to be data driven, so that you will not come and carry X raised to power something. And it's like some people have experience. It's like I was reading a book and they said, if you repeat GSS 3 times, doesn't mean you have 3 years experience in GSS 3. It just means you have failed. And if you don't know why you're repeating GSS 3, if you can't sit down, somebody will say, my energy bill is increasing. My energy bill is increasing. You need to do data analysis. You need to check. Take data points, all the appliances in the house. Take it. How long do they operate? From what time to what time? Who puts them on? Who do this? What kilowatts do they generate? And that kilowatt, what is it translated to in cost? Do this, like collect all of those things, then clean the data, prepare it, start analyzing. At the end of the day, I did this with a student, and it was a student project, and student was saying, see, I've done it. I said, okay, fine. I just discovered that my energy bill had increased by X percent, but I don't know what it is. And she started asking, did you buy some new appliance? I said, I think so. So we looked at all the socket points in the house and all the appliances that were connected to those socket points. How many were they? What is the wattage in those appliances? How often, how was the operation cycle? Do they run 24 hours? Or when we did all of those things, man, sometimes you will pray to God, God, show me, give me wisdom. And God will just be silent, because rather than giving you wisdom, he has given you the skill to go and find. Some of us are very lazy. We want God to do for us what he has already empowered us to do. So when we did that stuff and came back, we were able to cut down energy bill by 50%, because we had some appliances that were running that we didn't even know that they were on. So that is the power of data and business intelligence analysis. I hope. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, no. Okay, so I personally had a question. I understood at the beginning of the presentation where you said, okay, the data analyst deals with raw data. And here in my head, I'm thinking, are there cases where the raw data is not complete? Like, are there cases where you realize that, oh, the raw data that you have been given to work with, there are certain dependence, or there are certain things that are missing in it? How, in cases like that, what would you say the person should do, or how would you advise the person to strategize around working with that?
Okay, so if we don't have the data available, we would go and generate the data. And one of the ways to generate the data, if you look at this place, we said data collection. It can either be via a database where the data is readily available, or we could generate surveys. We could build for people who do projects in university, right? We send out questionnaires, we send out surveys. Why are we doing that? Because we have checked that we don't have the data available. So we need to do what? Create something that will help us to collect the data. Is it either via a survey, or you could ask questions? We could do research. If I mention something about primary data and secondary data, we could go and search. We could go and study some competitors. So those things are ways to collect data that is not readily available. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I think Mr. Okwemi has his hand up. Okwemi, please, could you go ahead and speak?
Good evening.
Evening, yeah, we can hear you.
Apologize, I joined in late, but I want to find out. You mentioned something about data cleanup. You can give example of data cleanup, because you mentioned.
Okay, so thanks. So when we talk about data cleaning, right? It's more like putting the data in the format that you want it. So you can send me a data you can send me, maybe I work with Felicia. So all the data that Felicia gave to me is Word document, Word document, Word document, Word document, Word document, Word document. PDF, some this, some that. It's the data that she has available. So now I need to prepare that data in the way that will help me to analyze. And in the process of preparing that data, it could be that the data has a wrong date format. Maybe the one in Word document has the date as year, month, and day. The one in PDF has year, day, and month. The one in another place has day, month. I can't use, if I have to run something, I will have error, right? So what I need to do is to clean that data by identifying inconsistency and make sure that all my dates are following one particular date format, whether it is day, month, and year. So cleaning doesn't mean we're carrying broom and omo to wash it. It's more like cleaning it in the form and formats that would enable me to go to the next stage, which is what? The data analysis itself. Because if the data, some date formats are in this different date formats, or if it's in different languages, maybe one is in French, another one is in English, I need to put them in a particular way that will make it ready for shipping. It's like you do logistics, they sent you their items, you need to package it, you need to brand, you need to put it, you need to clean, prepare it before you then package it. So that process of ensuring that there is no missing values in the data, because you don't want to go to the point of, you don't want to start analyzing only to discover that, oh, I have some missing values. You then go back to data. No, you don't want to do that. So we clean and prepare that data before we start analyzing it. So let me quickly go. How do we begin? Now, I'll come back to questions, but
Okay, you come. Okay.
yeah, I'll come back to questions. So today we're having a general knowledge. Maybe for those who maybe have understanding of data analysis, those who intend to have understanding. So we're just having a general knowledge of what data analysis is about. Now, but for those who say, okay, I think my calling is around this place. So it would be best we have more like a one-on-one call to kind of understand where you're coming from, understand what you do, so that we'll be able to kind of help in onboarding you to the program. And then before the start of anything, we need to build a 2 to 3 years or 4 years career plan. Now, if I think I might have some project managers on the call, I might have some business analysts on the call. Now, if in my 2 to 3 years time, or maybe 6 months time, I'm going to Canada. Now, your project management journey for Canada will be different from somebody who's in 2 to 3 years time, the person is going to the UK. Why? Because maybe Canada and US are more PMP friendly, and maybe they use, if it is this agile side, they are PSM friendly. But in the UK, it could mean that, okay, they are Prince2 friendly and they are CSM friendly. So, but both of them are project managers, but the markets and the application will differ. So this is why this whole thing, it's not about generalizing, it's more of personalizing. So that's why the analysis and planning is important. Then before we go to a 3 to 4 months of capacity building, where the practical focus training and the mentorship for business intelligence or data analysis is done, then you would actually be given a problem to solve. So you have to solve that problem on your own. You have to present the problem and what you have learned from the problem before we then start the market preparation and then push you out. Push you out is not like push you from the window, but the way a mother will push the child into the world is the same way we'll then push you into the market. So this is the transition roadmap for anyone who intends to join, or who intends to say, see, I would love to get this. So, and then you could actually go here and book a free consultation, or you could just scan the link. So let me go back to the question. Felicia, was that your voice or was that somebody else's voice? Because I can't see my full screen.
It was my voice.
Okay, your voice. Please go on.
Okay, my question is cleaning of the data. The removal of duplication. Is it also part of cleaning the data?
Correct. So like let's understand the keyword cleaning, right? So cleaning means identifying and correcting errors. So if I have 2 Darlington annually, right, I need to remove 1. So any errors, any inconsistencies, any missing value in the data that I have collected. So we call that cleaning and preparation. So duplicate values, having commas. You know, I was working on an Excel data 3 days ago, and you know that in Excel, especially Google Sheet and Excel, if you want to type somebody's number in Nigeria, maybe you want to do 08030 something like that. If you put a 0 and you press enter, that 0 will disappear, right?
Mhm.
And some people to leave that 0, they will put a apostrophe or something like in front so that that 0 will be there. Now, this is for those who did not format that particular cell to be a number. They just left that cell as a text. So if you leave the cell as a text, 0. So let's say when you now start, you can't do your analysis without correcting that error, because the business person did it in the way he or she will understand. But you as a data analyst, you have to clean. So just see cleaning in the sense that corrections, inconsistencies, getting any missing value and all of that. So that's what the word cleaning is.
I think Godwin has his hand up.
Yeah, when we talk about data cleaning, actually is trying to put the right data, okay, or yeah, to put the right data on the right format based on the software you're actually using. Now, each software has a particular language it understands. So that data is supposed to follow that fashion. Anything outside that fashion, it doesn't work. It will continue to give you error. Just as that is trying to say, you see, when you talk about date, now some will accept date starting from the day, the month, and year, while some will not. And again, when you have mix up of such kind of data in a particular document or data set, you need to rearrange them to follow one particular fashion. Are we together? So
Yeah.
that is one. So I just want to talk a little on that one. So secondly, again, I want to talk about, somebody talk about when you have a data that's incomplete. You see, to be able to have your data full, the first thing to note is that we have to study the pattern of that data. Once you study the pattern of that data, I think they are easier to generate such kind of data. Now, with the pattern or the trend, it can help us to actually develop a model that can be able to generate such missing data or incomplete data sets through simulation and some other things. That's just what I want to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Just to mention, Godwin is he's more than a brother. He's also very, I don't want to say like, he's more than a professor in data analysis and statistics, and I think he did statistics in higher education, and then also lectures, and also if he can take my life now and then analyze it, maybe I will submit my life to him. So thank you for that. Thank you for that input. So I hope that we were able to, I don't want to take plenty of our time. So I hope that we were able to have a basic understanding. So today is just anybody who does not know what data analysis, at least if you go back, you should be able to say, oh yes, at least collect. You might not know how to do it, but you need to know what they do. Collect the data, clean it, prepare it, analyze it, visualize it, report it. And if there be any way, model it, present it to the management, let us implement the insights. And once the more insights we have, the more the business can make a better informed decision. To some people who don't know what to do with their don't know what to go about their life and all of that, maybe you can take a personal project. You can analyze. I wake up very late. I fall ill. I used to fall ill during the holidays, right? Anytime there's a public holiday while others are resting, I'll just fall ill. And you know, it's like, to some of us, we just feel, oh, this thing must be one devil that is monitoring me. Is not. So I started analyzing. I took some data sets around my life, and you just discover that when you walk, so your body gets so used to walking. The moment you try to just is like a car that is moving. You just press brake, boom, that car will tumble. It's like a pot that is on the fire, and then that pot is hot. You now pour water inside. You must hear sound. So this is the way God has designed nature. So this is why there is time to walk and there is time to rest. There's time for everything. So if you sometimes analyze, you would reduce some of the mistakes that you make. So data analysis is for everybody. It's just that some persons have to build a career out of it. Thank you. I know I am 10 minutes past the time we're supposed to stop. I want to appreciate everybody for sharing, for those who asked questions, for those who supported Godwin, Ifeanyi, who supported with answers, and Felicia Okoyemi, who asked. And I don't know if there is any more question, but if there are none, I would release us now to go do the rest of the things we have for the day. I hope that before now, if you didn't know what data or business intelligence analysis is, you should have a picture. And for those who say, I think I have a career here, or you work in business and the gap in your skill is that you wish you could do something with this data, and then, like, I had somebody who was always making the person had an intuition, or, like, will I say, God is only speaking to the person what the answer is, but the people she is working with, they're not Christians. They need proof, but she did not have a data analysis skill. So she will tell you, so this is what I'm thinking. I feel that this is going to happen in 3 weeks' time, and everybody will disregard her. And in 3 weeks' time, it's going to happen. But she does not know how to translate what is in her spirit into presentation, because she does not have the data analysis skill. So she had to go and learn. So once she was able to, if God tells her anything, she was able to kind of put it in a way that man who don't know God will understand. And the business will say, oh, this is true. And once, the more they kept following her visualized report and the insights, the business were making much more informed decision. So my point is, it's not just, we need to be able to translate to the language that people will understand. And I do wish that, I hope we have gotten the intro, and we can take things further from there. So thank you, everyone, and do have a very, very blessed rest part of the evening.